right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Prudential Podcast. In this edition, it's just gonna be me. So, my name is Ryan. Welcome to our newest edition of the Prudential Podcast. I just came from Chicago. As some of you guys already know, I was there for the ITA National Tennis Tournament as this Texas team, my alma mater, made it to the final. And I adjusted my flight just to watch them for the final match at the XS Tennis Village. Unfortunately, we're the finalists, couldn't get the championship done. But I am so damn proud of this Texas men's tennis team. Obviously, this is my first time doing this kind of episode, this kind of content. I feel every time after watching their tennis matches, I always have something I wanted to say, right? Something that I've learned and I've seen a little bit different from this team. I've been following this team for, a little while. Obviously, I think I really wasn't fully committed to watch college tennis until maybe 2021. After, the men's team won their first title in 2019, the women's team won their title exactly that year in 2021. So, but I was a guy that I play a lot of tennis. I always go to the Texas Tennis Center to watch our women's team and men's team compete in our home court. And I have developed a very strong attachment to our team, and I found very interesting, just every single day. If I can see them, I always say hi and, just congratulate them on their recent result and things like that when I was on campus. Really just excited to see guys, all around, not only on court, but also on their, study halls, their dining rooms, whatever. So yeah, I'm just very passionate about the sport, and I think it's a, great segue. Obviously, we have a lot of content in Chinese and, regarding tennis and regarding sports in general. But I think a lot of people have not really known too much about college tennis. But today I'm just gonna be a Texas fan. I know Texas tennis has some fans, but not a lot of them were able to travel to Chicago or to Seattle, which I'm gonna be talking a little bit about in our next episode about our women's tennis team. But I want to talk a little bit about our men's tennis team as we were the finalists of the ITA Men's Indoor Championship. So for some of you guys who already do not know, so the NC2A, that's the outdoor championship, right? So that happens in May. But before the outdoor season, we're gonna play the indoor season because, so many states in America, they do not have an outdoor available. It's very cold and, the weather doesn't permit people to practice outside. So they do have the, I'll say a month and a half indoor season, but, usually the Texas team could practice outdoor. They're, all year round outdoor team. So, which doesn't necessarily mean that we're not good at this, but we haven't been achieving great result in this national indoor tournament. But for this year, this Texas team has a very tough draw, right? Early from the beginning, their first match in this ITA kickoff tournament is a 64 teams draw. It's the same thing as the NCAA. If you lose in the first round, you're basically out for the tournament, but you still have a consolation. So the only thing you need to do, you just need to keep winning. You need to keep winning in order to advance to the next round. So Texas had a terrible draw, right? But they made the most out of it. I think they're the toughest team in this draw. We had a first round against number 22 Cal, and we took them 1-4-1, right? And then we had the second round, which is ranked number 14 Arizona. It was funny, they came back to Austin in 2 weeks, and Texas took them down both times. So it's 4-1 over Cal, 4-love over Arizona. And that pushes them to the ITA Indoor Championship, which is a 16-team draw, and that's taken place in Chicago, Illinois. So, the first time I was finding that Chicago, Illinois, I wanted to go because I have a lot of friends in Chicago, and I haven't been there for like 2 or 3 years, and there are a lot of good food and good places to visit. I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna enjoy a little bit, right? Even we probably won't make it too far, but I'll probably go enjoy the city, working with my team to play 3 times in a row. Very fun, right? And it turns out to be a great experience. For this Texas tennis team, we knocked off Wake Forest in the first round, or actually in the Sweet 16, 4-0. We kicked the shit out of them. And on the next day, 6:30, we beat the freaking Ohio State Buckeyes 4-3. And on the following day, we beat the Michigan Wolverines, who knocked us off in Ann Arbor last year. But on Monday, we unfortunately got outbeat by TCU, the Horned Frogs 0-4. So looking at the paper, right, you cannot be more proud of this Texas team, right? We're very injury depleted last year. And this year, we're losing Richard C. Amaro. It's a huge spot for Texas, so everybody moves up a little bit, right? And we also know that this Texas team does add Lucas Brown, but they're not really adding a guy like Ethan Quinn or a guy like Nishesh Basravati. So this is a team that needs a lot of returners to make plays, and they need everybody to get healthier. So three things I wanted to open up this podcast is actually three themes that I have seen from this ITA tournament. One of them is team efforts. What does a team effort really mean? I know we're winning matches, everybody's making plays, but look at the Ohio State and the Michigan 2 wins. So we know that Michigan and Ohio State are probably the best indoor team that you can see in men's college tennis or in college tennis in general. Ohio State, they have everybody. Their UTR is so high. Even their 6th Robert Cash, his UTR is more than 14. And for the Michigan team, they have so many players on their squad. They have so many supporting staff. I don't know how the hell they can get like 5 or 6 student managers on their squad, which is crazy. But they have a huge crowd supporting them. They have a lot of fans driving from Ann Arbor to Chicago, which is crazy. But look at this Ohio State team win. Well, this Ohio State win, right? Whoever loses in that match, so who do we lose? So we lose in doubles. That's where the 3-point comes. We lose in doubles. We lose that Walden match against James Trouter. And we lost that match. It's Cleve Harper against Robert Cash. But going back to the next day, this Texas team took on Michigan. Remember who made plays? It's the doubles, right? It's the Waldives and the Baileys on number 2 doubles, and they knocked off Styler and Maloney. And looking at the singles, it is Simon Waldiv down 2-5, and he was able to come back from the first set 7-5, 6-4 over Gavin Young. And that's the Stats' first loss this season. And obviously, Michigan and Ohio State, both of the teams have not lost this season. Okay, so that's their first loss ever. They probably start thinking playing this tournament to be like, oh, I'm going to kill whoever is going to play in front of me. Okay, so Ohio State might be thinking, hey, how can I win this Texas team? Same thing as we did last year or, 2 weeks ago. They beat them 4-0. And what about this Michigan team? The Michigan team beat Texas on their home court last year in the NCAA tournament, and it was 4-2. So what I wanted to make point is Texas is such a team. What I want to say is the players who didn't make plays, who didn't win in the last day, they went ahead, adjusted, and they win on the next day. That is so scary, okay? And they were still able to make the wins. So this is a Texas team. We should have a lot of confidence in this coaching staff to say, hey, if you see a Walden didn't win the match, you come back tomorrow, our team got you. Okay? So that 6th spot, Texas is still, I don't know, they're still wondering about who the 6th spot's gonna be, which I don't know what the coaches are thinking. It's gonna be probably the matchup. But if the 6th doesn't win today, we're gonna have someone else playing 6 tomorrow, might be. And that guy will be ready to play. So I think this is a Texas team shows a lot of tenacity, especially down the stretch. For Ohio State, this match, it came down to Bailey on the deciding set against Kingsley. Well, you probably have 50 Ohio State fans are there, and there were only like 4 or 5 of us. And you have that Michigan match came down to Elias Baziri, and he was playing so bad on the first set, and just Finty was just killing him on the first set. But Elliott just keep finding solutions, and he was able to knock out Finty on the deciding set that helped Texas for the win. So this is a huge team effort for this Texas team. And I can see that this Texas team, I just say we're not the loudest in the building. There are people that are louder. that have more folks on the team, that cheers more, that having more energy. But Texas has that internal energy. They have an internal drive. They wanted to win for each other. That's what Bailey said in the post-game interview. I don't want to disappoint my teammates. They're just so connected. They're so, they're just playing for each other every single point. And that really brings up my second observation is Texas has such a strong leader in Elias Vizieri. There are reasons that he's a #1 player in college tennis. He's #1 ITA. Look at the guys he beat. Okay? He beat Ethan Quinn. He knocks off Axel Nerve. And he knocks off Justin Boulay. And he knocks off, who's the one at Forest? Wake Forest is one of the foreigners. And you have Michigan knock off Finty. And he is going to the deciding set with Jake Fernie. So I just really don't see Elliott would lose this season. I don't know. Looking at Texas' schedule, I just don't know if Texas would Elliott ever lose at 1. Maybe put Lerner 10 and #1 and USC, that would be a big matchup. And Jake Fernie, I don't know. I think this year's Elias Vizier, it's really like Peyton Stearns for that Texas women's team. But, Peyton Stearns came in as the top recruit and everybody expected to win every single day. But Elias Vizier has gone through a shit a ton. And I remember I saw him at the Hall of Fame Open in Newport as he was supporting his teammate Richard Ciamara for the doubles match. Bro had surgery in the off season. And when we were talking, he doesn't really seem bothered by that surgery. He was like, hey, I've been working on my forehand. I've been working on my movement. I just get this and this and that going. I'm like, bro, if I got a surgery, I'm probably thinking about that every single day. But that really shows how tenacious and just how resilient this guy is. I mean, Elias Vizier, his game, that's the mental game. I think a lot of players cannot beat him. Did Andrew Fenty play the level that he could be Vizier? He could. But that's the mental side coming into play against Vizier? No, right? So I think there are a couple players that can play around the same level as Elias Vizier, but they usually fall a little bit short. I think that's where the mental game of Elias Vizier really comes. His slice backhand, combining with his just regular backhand, topspin, and flat backhand, and his forehand is just so deep, just working on that your opponent's backhand corner, that's his go-to, right? And remember, Elias Vizier, that's an outdoor player, right? He trains at Texas for 3 or 4 years. Of course, he's from Connecticut, but I couldn't consider that as an indoor player, but he's just so well-rounded, right? He won you a 25K 2 years ago, and he's been #1 in the country, doing with one wrist and just pretty much beating everybody in the fall. And Texas really has a rock in their roster. I think Bruce Spurge shouldn't be happier than that. So if you were able to get a doubles point in Texas, I'll probably say we're up to 0. Okay? That's how much confidence I have in Elias Vizier. And he's a guy who's so humble. And even if he wins and his team loses, he's going to be so disappointed. Okay? So it really shows how good, how much a team guy he is. And everybody in this team, I think, really respects Elias Vizier, his game, his attitudes on the court, and his feistiness that really brings up this Texas team. He's not like a Cleve Harper yell or he yells a lot like CM Waldy. He just competes. He just fights. And he look at every single player down the court, but hey, fight, let's go. Right? So this is a Texas team that I have seen on the court. I think that's going to make a huge difference for this year. Is you have a huge, strong leadership in Elias Vizier. All right? I don't want to not give credit to other players like CM Waldy playing really well, like Nevin Armili going to the 5th year, he could still come back for another year. But Elias Vizier, that's your soul of the team, right? And that's the guy that's going to put everything on the line and try to give you a win. And he's the best player for this Texas lineup. And he's the best player probably in college tennis. Okay? So let's dive into the third topic. We talk about the team efforts of Texas. We talk about a very strong leader of Elias Spizier, but how could this Texas team get better, right? I mean, even you win the whole tournament, you can still get better. Okay. So what I would say is Texas needs to strengthen their doubles and find their six. I think that's pretty much what everybody wanted to say when they look at this Texas team. But the solutions I'm offering is that in the doubles, you find yourself a team in Michael Brasman, Chi Chi Huang, right? That's your three doubles. This, if they're not going to win, they're going to hold their opponent to a tiebreak, right? But you have to be able to figure out that one and two. And I know this is indoor, and you're playing the best doubles team in the country, and you drop the doubles point against Ohio State, you drop the doubles point against TCU, and you got the doubles point out of Michigan, right? So we know that Elliott and Cleve Harper has been playing together. They've been competing in the ITA tournament, and they've been playing in the fall. But is that going to be a good time to split Spizier and Cleve Harper? Because I think that's the solution that I'll be bringing. Because Steven Waldip and Elliott Spizier, they're playing so well last year. They made it to the NCAA tournament. They're just not losing their matches, even with that Elliott one, like just size backhand. Is that going to be a good time to pair those two guys together again at that one position and put Harper and Bailey at two just to test it out? But I think it's really interesting to see that, last year it's Ishan Tulori got the job at the three doubles with Chi Chi with all the injuries happen for Braswell and Bailey. But Ishan Tulori is such a great doubles player, right? He's the guy that can finish in the net, has a pretty good serves, and he's strong, physical. And I think if you can find a spot between Bailey, Harper, and um, Bailey, Harper, and Tulori, I think Texas may find yourself a solution to doubles. I don't want to discredit Bailey, but I think Bailey is a great player, but he's not your doubles player. He can give you energy. He's really good at those passing shots, and he's really good at a baseline and service return, but he's not that athletic at the net as a Wody or as a Cleve Harper. So I think there's a lot of work that Texas could have done in terms of their doubles team. And even though I do see that Wody and Bailey, it probably doesn't hurt them at this point of the season, and they do give you some strong wins. But I think Texas should test it out a little bit. Maybe testing that Harper and Tulori combination, maybe that Bailey and Harper. I do not see Harper not playing. That's your NCAA champ, but he did not play at the level as the NCAA champ level in this tournament for doubles. No, not a chance, right? So you have to find Cleve Harper a partner. And I don't think it's going to be Chi Chi. I don't think it's going to be Micah. So you need to figure out who's going to play doubles with Harper, right? So that will be a really interesting matchup if you can able to figure out that one. And you got yourself a very consistent three in Micah and Chi Chi. You got your one in Spizier and Waldeep. And you just need to find that two doubles position, right? And you have a strong leader in Cleve Harper, the NCAA champ. And this is Texas team can provide some troubles for some teams, right? And we're number two in the nation. We're not really like, we're not like 10 or 15, right? We're trying to upset some teams. The teams are going to come after you. If you don't make changes, the other team make changes. And obviously you're pretty susceptible, to some of the losses, right? Um, I think that really sum up my doubles. I think Texas should try to test out different teams, especially for this outdoor season coming up. They're playing Texas A&M on Sunday. They're gonna play TCU again. They're gonna play at Stanford, which I'll be going. They're gonna play against NC State, UCF, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. I think not until USC. Like Texas probably has a month to figure out their double solution, right? Who you're gonna play at two? Who's gonna pair with Spizier? Who's gonna pair with Harper? That's where Texas should make some efforts into to see where they should go. And another side of it, one of which is Hunter Six. I am so proud of Nevin Armilli, and his win against Andrew Lachanik. That's literally put the knife in his throat. And I know I feel like some of the Ohio State players, they're just like so entitled because they're from Ohio State. They're the guys that playing so well indoors. Their level is really high. They have a great coach. The coach is named the facility after his name, and that was just crazy, right? So for Ned Armini being able to knock off Andrew Luchanik in 2 sets, you're basically slapping his face. And that was a great match played by Armini. Luciano just keep missing, right? So I think Texas, you find yourself at 6 in Nevin Armini, but he couldn't hold up to Will Cooksey. So I think that's where Texas really needed to figure out who their 6 is, because your 6 doesn't have to be the same guy every time. In 2019, they figured out that Rodrigo Benzer playing 6 because, they like his experience, they like his tenacity, they like his endurance on the court, and he's going 6-0 for Texas in the NCAA tournament that ended up winning it. And it was funny that every single time Rodrigo Benza win, that's straight set wins. That's quick. That put yourself up there if you win in doubles 2-0. So you have 5 courts, only need win how many? Just 2. So if you were able to find that 6th position, Rodrigo Benza was a senior, Armini is a senior, your senior Chi Huang is a senior. If you can figure out one of your senior player to be that Rodrigo Benzer, or you can change your lineup a little bit. Let's say, hey, they did put McDonald against Thomas Jurasek, right? And McDonald give you a set at 6. So I think I'm definitely going to trust this coaching staff to put their players in the right position, really depending on the matchup. But what they could do a little bit better is, can you win a little faster, right? I think that's kind of the tough part for college tennis is not only you need to win, but also the team expects you to win faster because that's gonna give everybody less pressure and everybody else do not expect you to win, right? So if you're at the 6th position, Texas is going to figure out who can help you to win and who can help you to win fast, right? So probably this indoor court, they're trusting McDonald, that big forehand, especially that inside out forehand coming to the net. And McDonald has improved a lot on the backhand as well, giving some deep balls, changing direction, and he's doing a good job. Um, but I think for this Texas team, they have to figure out their 6, right? Who is going to play 6? Are you going to trust one person to do the 6 for the rest of the season? Or are you going to have multiple players switching around, rotating around? And let's say when it comes to NCAA, let's roll with Armidi, let's roll with Chi, let's roll with McDonald. I don't know, right? Or they're just going to be, hey, we're going to play Florida tomorrow. Let's roll with Chi. Let's play if we face a Kentucky, let's face a JJ Mercer. Oh, let's play McDonald at 6. I don't know. Because really depending on the matchup and who's playing better in the last couple of weeks. But Texas need to figure out their 6. Okay. One last point. This Texas team is going to be great. Okay. This Texas is going to be great. Look at their schedule, right? They're going to get battle tested with TCU twice this season. And I freaking love the timing of it. They got battle tested against TCU a week ago. They're going to get battle tested in March at Fort Worth. And they're going to get battle tested on April the 15th against TCU. And they're going to have 1 week to turn around. They're going to play them in the Big 12 tournament in Lawrence, Kansas. I would assume Texas will play TCU in the championship match. And then in probably 3 to 4 weeks, they're going to play TCU, hopefully in a national championship game or in the Final Four. I don't care. It's really kind of like if you're doing a semester, right? You have a couple quizzes, you have a couple midterm exams, and you're going to have a final test. I can say I'm going to fail or I'm not going to do too well in those 2 midterms. I want to see this progression of the Texas team to be like, oh, okay, I'm dropping them 0-4, love 4, February the 20th. Let's say March the 4th, can we win 1 or 2 points, right? Can Elias Viziri help us to win? Can Michael Braswell turn it around and Jack Pennington Jones? Can we do that? And on April the 15th, can we sneak a win at home? Can we win a 4-3 match? Can CM Waldy play a little bit closer against Sander Jones? Can we knock off a set out of Luke Fomba, right? These are the questions I'll be asking when it comes to closer to into the season. Can Texas make consistent progress? But also knowing that TCU is making progress too. They can make some lineup changes. Their players are gonna get better. Like Jack Pennington Jones is only gonna get better from here. Their doubles team, they're only gonna get stronger. So can Texas match up the level that TCU is doing? I really love it because there's always someone you wanted to chase. There's someone you wanted to learn from. You try to see the gaps, and then you come back home, you practice, you get battle tested again. Can you win? Right? Can you figure this out? I think this is going to be a big test for this coaching staff because last year they don't have this kind of schedule, or they don't have this type of talent or luxury to be like, oh, they're really seeing themselves getting battle tested against TCU for so many times. They're just like, can I win the next game? Can I win against Baylor? Can I win against Oklahoma? I think these are the matches that Texas really need to rest their players. So I think we're publishing this today. They're playing Texas A&M on Sunday. I'll probably expect Texas would either rest Seam Wody or Braswell or Bailey. Just rest one of the players. Letting McDonald play, letting Armini play. If the rest rule applies, maybe you can play some Lucas Brown in 6, right? And they're gonna play Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. I just don't expect everybody to play. I don't expect this full strength of this Texas lineup to play. Test your doubles, right? Figure out who to play over there and who you can trust and who bring the best result, right? So, you know, all in all, obviously, I think this Texas tennis team, men's tennis team, is gonna make a lot of noise this year, right? They're gonna play number one TCU 4 times. They already played once, 4 times this year, maybe the 5th time in that NCAA tournament, right? This is gonna be fun. So I wouldn't expect Texas to win. Like I'll probably spend to a 2-2 in a regular season. They're gonna win one, gonna lose one here and there. But you need to remember the one that only counts, that's your NC2A that comes from Maine, Orlando. Who was the better player in Orlando? That's the Texas team. They won in 2019. They made it to the Final Four. In 2021, this TCU team did not. They don't have the experience playing on a final site, and they have never been there before, right? But for Bruce Berg, for this Texas team, they have that experience. This Cleve Harpers, those CM Waldives, they know what it takes to get to the Final Four. They know what it takes to win for Chichi and Armili. I think this is the Texas team that has a lot of chance to make to the final championship game and bring that trophy home, right? I have a lot of confidence in him. I look forward to see them competing every single weekend. And, we hope that they're going to make a lot of wins this year. We hope everybody stays healthy. And last but not least, hook 'em horns and hook.